Hello friends, and welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel. Most people ignore old coins, but collectors are paying up to $171,000 for some of them. Today we are revealing the top 2 Jefferson 5-cent nickels that could change your life forever. Hidden inside old drawers, forgotten piggy banks, rusty toolboxes, and inherited coin jars are 2 American nickels that have shocked collectors across the world. One is the mysterious 1966 Jefferson nickel. The other is the legendary 1964 Jefferson nickel. At first glance, they look completely ordinary. Small, simple, common. But appearances can be dangerously misleading in the world of rare coins. Because under the right conditions, one tiny detail can transform a 5-cent coin into a life-changing treasure worth more than a luxury house. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe right now and turn on notifications because this channel reveals hidden coin values most people never even notice. The next rare coin we talk about could already be sitting inside your home without you realizing it. Now imagine this. A man walks into a grocery store carrying loose change inside his pocket. He pays for coffee, receives a few nickels back, and casually tosses them into a kitchen drawer when he returns home. Years pass. The drawer becomes forgotten. Dust collects. Life moves forward. Then one evening, curiosity changes everything. He opens the drawer and notices an old Jefferson nickel that looks slightly different from the others. The shine, the strike, the date. Something feels unusual. He sends the coin for professional grading. Weeks later, the impossible happens. Experts confirm the nickel is extraordinarily rare. Its value explodes into 6 figures. Stories like this sound unbelievable, but they happen. And that is exactly why serious collectors constantly search through old American coins hoping to discover hidden fortune. Tonight we begin with the mysterious 1966 Jefferson 5-cent nickel. The year 1966 was a fascinating moment in American history. The United States was experiencing massive cultural change. Television was transforming households. Cars ruled the highways. The space race captured imaginations around the globe. Meanwhile, millions of coins were flowing through the American economy every single day. Most people never stopped to examine them carefully. Coins were simply tools for spending money. But collectors know something the average person does not. Sometimes the most ordinary years create the most extraordinary rarities. The Jefferson nickel itself had already become one of America's most recognizable coins. Featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic Monticello estate on the back, the design symbolized stability, heritage, and American identity. Families carried them everywhere. Children used them in candy machines. Workers dropped them into vending machines. Yet hidden among the billions produced were tiny numbers of exceptional coins that would later become legendary. The 1966 Jefferson nickel became especially mysterious because of the conditions surrounding coin production during that era. During the mid-1960s, the United States Mint was under enormous pressure to produce massive quantities of coins. Coin shortages were creating national frustration. Americans struggled to find enough change for daily life. To fight the shortage, Mint officials pushed production harder than ever before. And whenever production speeds increased dramatically, mistakes and unusual coins become possible. Collectors today carefully inspect 1966 nickels for sharp details, unusual surfaces, strange errors, missing elements, double designs, and exceptionally preserved condition. Because while millions were produced, only a microscopic number survived in elite condition. That is the key many people fail to understand. Rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes rarity is about survival. Most 1966 nickels lived rough lives. They passed through gas stations, restaurants, laundromats, arcades, and cash registers for decades. Scratches accumulated. Surfaces became worn. Details faded away. But every once in a while, a nearly perfect specimen escaped destruction. Perhaps it was saved immediately after minting. Perhaps it sat untouched in a collection for generations. Whatever the reason, surviving examples in extraordinary condition became incredibly desirable to serious collectors. Now picture a collector sitting beneath a desk lamp late at night. In front of him rests a tiny 1966 nickel inside a protective holder. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin. But under magnification, the surfaces appear almost flawless. The luster shines like frozen silver light. Jefferson's portrait remains razor-sharp. Monticello appears beautifully detailed. The coin looks almost untouched by time itself. That is when excitement begins rising inside the collector world. Because condition changes everything. An ordinary nickel may only be worth face value, but an elite specimen can enter an entirely different universe. Collectors compete aggressively for top-quality examples because the number available becomes incredibly small. Wealthy buyers understand that the finest surviving coins represent history preserved at its absolute peak. And once a coin achieves legendary status among grading experts, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination. The 1966 Jefferson nickel became famous partly because of this intense condition rarity. And then there are the errors. Coin errors are like accidents frozen forever in metal. They happen during the minting process when something goes unexpectedly wrong. A doubled image, an off-center strike, missing details, misaligned dies, unusual textures. Every error creates a unique story. Some errors are minor. Others become sensational. Collectors love errors because they represent chaos inside a system designed for perfection. The United States Mint aims for precision. So when a mistake escapes into circulation, it becomes fascinating. Imagine discovering a coin nobody else owns. That possibility drives collectors into obsession. Across America, people now examine old nickels more carefully than ever before. Some use magnifying glasses. Others use professional microscopes. They search through inherited collections, garage sale boxes, estate sales, old bank rolls, and forgotten jars filled with decades of change. Because one extraordinary nickel could change financial reality forever. And here is what makes the story even more emotional. Many rare coins survive purely because somebody ordinary decided not to spend them. A grandfather saves a nickel in a cigar box. A mother stores coins inside a kitchen tin. A child begins a collection and forgets it for 40 years. Then decades later, the hidden treasure resurfaces. This emotional connection gives old coins tremendous power. Every scratch carries history. Every preserved detail survived countless moments across generations of American life. The 1966 nickel especially captures this feeling because it belongs to a period many people still remember personally. Older viewers may remember carrying these coins during childhood, buying soda, riding buses, visiting movie theaters. Holding a 1966 nickel today can feel like touching a surviving fragment of another world. That nostalgia creates even deeper demand among collectors. Now imagine attending a major coin auction. The room is silent. Collectors stare intensely at the stage. Then the auctioneer introduces an extraordinary 1966 Jefferson nickel. Instantly, attention shifts. Bidding begins slowly. Then suddenly hands rise everywhere. The price climbs higher. $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. The room grows tense. Collectors know they may never see another example this beautiful again. Finally, the hammer falls. The legendary 1966 Jefferson nickel sells for an astonishing $143,000. A coin once worth only 5 cents becomes worth more than many homes. And somewhere watching this story unfold, ordinary people rush to check their own change jars, hoping fate may smile upon them too. That is the magic of rare coin collecting. Hope, discovery, history, mystery, and the possibility that unimaginable value could be hiding in plain sight. The most incredible part is that valuable coins are often ignored for years because people assume modern coins cannot be rare. That assumption has caused countless treasures to disappear unnoticed into circulation forever. Experts constantly warn collectors to pay attention to condition, strike quality, and unusual characteristics. Tiny details separate ordinary nickels from elite rarities. One small feature can mean the difference between 5 cents and life-changing wealth. And sometimes even experienced collectors miss important clues. That is why the hunt never truly ends. Every old nickel carries potential. Every collection hides possibility. Every forgotten box could contain history waiting to be rediscovered. Now imagine opening a dusty wooden drawer inherited from a family member who passed away decades ago. Inside rests an old cloth pouch filled with nickels. Most appear dark and worn, but one coin shines differently beneath the light. You pick it up slowly. The date reads 1966. Your heartbeat increases. Could this be the one? Could this tiny forgotten nickel actually hold extraordinary value? That single moment of uncertainty is what makes coin collecting one of the most addictive hobbies on Earth. Because treasure feels real, not in fantasy stories, not in movies, but inside ordinary homes, inside ordinary pockets, inside ordinary lives. And perhaps somewhere tonight, someone watching this video will discover a rare 1966 Jefferson nickel completely by accident. If you are enjoying this story so far and want the second powerful chapter about the legendary 1964 Jefferson nickel worth up to $171,000, tell me to continue. Now the story becomes even more unbelievable. Because while the 1966 Jefferson nickel shocked collectors with its incredible rarity and astonishing value, another coin from just 2 years earlier would become even more legendary. A coin millions of Americans touched without ever realizing the fortune they were holding. The 1964 Jefferson 5-cent nickel. A simple coin on the surface. But beneath that ordinary appearance hides one of the most fascinating stories in American coin collecting history. To truly understand why collectors became obsessed with the 1964 nickel, you must travel back to the turbulent America of the 1960s. The nation was changing rapidly. Economic pressure was rising. Coin shortages created panic across the country. Americans were hoarding silver coins because precious metal prices were climbing. Vending machines, businesses, banks, and everyday citizens struggled to find enough change for normal life. The United States Mint responded with enormous production numbers. Factories worked relentlessly. Machines roared day and night. Millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels poured from the presses. At first, this should have made the 1964 nickel extremely common forever. But the world of rare coins never follows simple logic. Because hidden among the endless flood of ordinary nickels were a tiny number of extraordinary survivors that would later stun the collecting world. Some were struck with exceptional sharpness. Some survived untouched in nearly perfect condition. Some contained mysterious minting abnormalities. And together these rare survivors transformed the humble 1964 nickel into a modern treasure hunter's dream. Imagine an elderly man sitting quietly at a kitchen table late at night. In front of him sits a glass jar filled with old coins collected over 50 years. Perhaps he saved them during childhood. Perhaps they came from his parents. Perhaps he simply forgot they existed. One by one, he empties the coins onto the table. Pennies, dimes, quarters, nickels. Then suddenly he notices something unusual. A 1964 Jefferson nickel with blazing luster unlike the others. The surfaces glow beneath the light. Jefferson's face appears sharp and powerful. Monticello on the reverse side looks almost perfectly struck. Even after decades, the coin appears astonishingly fresh. Curiosity takes over. He sends the coin for professional authentication. Weeks later, experts confirm the unbelievable truth. The coin belongs among the finest known examples ever discovered. Its estimated value reaches an astonishing $171,000. A single nickel becomes worth more than luxury cars, expensive homes in some areas, and years of average salaries combined. Stories like this fuel the passion of collectors everywhere, because they prove that hidden fortune still exists, not buried beneath oceans, not hidden inside ancient temples, but sitting quietly inside forgotten jars and family collections. That possibility keeps collectors searching every single day. The 1964 Jefferson nickel became especially famous because condition rarity reached extraordinary levels. While millions of coins circulated heavily, only a microscopic number survived in pristine condition. But elite survivors escaped destruction. And those survivors became legends. Collectors use powerful lighting and magnification to study every detail. The smallest marks matter. Tiny imperfections can dramatically reduce value. That is why truly flawless or near-perfect examples become incredibly valuable. Competition among wealthy collectors grows fierce whenever elite specimens appear at auction. Now imagine entering a major rare coin convention. Glass display cases stretch across enormous halls. Collectors move carefully from table to table. Dealers examine coins beneath bright lamps. Everywhere conversations revolve around rarity, condition, then whispers begin spreading across the room. Someone has brought an extraordinary 1964 Jefferson nickel. People gather immediately. Even experienced collectors become silent while examining the coin, because they understand what they are witnessing. not just a nickel, but one of the finest survivors from an important era in American history. The surfaces shimmer beautifully. The strike appears razor-sharp. Every detail looks alive. For a moment, the coin no longer feels ordinary. It feels historic. That emotional reaction is difficult to explain to non-collectors. Rare coins connect people directly to the past in a physical way. This exact nickel may have been minted while historic events unfolded across America. It survived wars, economic shifts, technological revolutions, and generations of change. And now it rests inside protective glass worth a fortune. The mystery surrounding the 1964 nickel deepened further because collectors began discovering unusual varieties and minting anomalies. Tiny doubling effects, strange die characteristics, exceptional full-step details beneath Monticello, rare strike qualities. Every unusual feature increased excitement. Collectors became detectives. Every coin required investigation. Every detail carried clues. That is exactly why Jefferson nickels remain so popular today. Unlike some expensive collectibles reserved only for wealthy investors, nickels still create hope for ordinary people. Almost anyone can search for them. Almost anyone may accidentally discover one. A cashier, a truck driver, a retired teacher, a mechanic, a grandmother sorting old family belongings. Treasure can appear anywhere. And perhaps the most emotional part of all is how these discoveries often happen unexpectedly during ordinary moments. A family cleans an attic after decades. An old suitcase is opened. Inside rests a forgotten coin album. The pages crack gently with age. Rows of Jefferson nickels appear beneath faded plastic holders. Most look worn, but then one coin stands apart. Bright, sharp, almost untouched. The date reads 1964. At that moment, the entire atmosphere changes. Suddenly, the family realizes they may be holding something extraordinary. That possibility creates powerful emotion because rare coins represent more than money. They represent memory, history, family inheritance, and survival across generations. A single coin may pass silently through countless hands before finally being recognized for what it truly is. And sometimes recognition arrives just in time. Sadly, many valuable coins disappear forever because owners never realize their importance. Rare nickels get spent accidentally. Children use them for snacks. Old collections are sold cheaply at yard sales. Hidden treasures vanish back into circulation unnoticed. That reality makes surviving rarities even more valuable. Because every year fewer remain. Collectors understand this deeply. That is why competition becomes intense whenever elite examples appear publicly for sale. Now picture the final auction scene. Bright lights illuminate the stage. A professional auctioneer lifts a tiny knife. The atmosphere feels electric. Everyone knows this coin is special. Bidding begins immediately. $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. The numbers rise rapidly. Hearts pound across the room. Collectors refuse to surrender. The nickel represents prestige, rarity, history, and investment potential all at once. Then the impossible happens. The final bid reaches $171,000. The hammer strikes. Applause erupts. A coin once worth only 5 cents becomes one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever sold. And somewhere far away, ordinary viewers hearing this story begin searching through their own old coins with brand new eyes. That is the true power of rare coin collecting. It transforms ordinary objects into hidden treasure. It turns forgotten memories into financial opportunity. It reminds people that history still survives in the smallest places imaginable. So tonight, after watching this video, do not ignore old nickels sitting inside drawers, jars, boxes, wallets, or inherited collections. Look carefully at every date. Examine every detail. Because one tiny coin could completely change your future. And remember these two legendary Jefferson nickels. The mysterious 1966 Jefferson 5-cent nickel valued at up to $143,000. And the incredible 1964 Jefferson 5-cent nickel valued at up to $171,000. Two ordinary-looking coins. Two astonishing stories. And possibly two hidden treasures still waiting to be discovered somewhere tonight.